Heavy gunfire has been reported across parts of Caracas over the past 45 minutes, including areas near the presidential palace. Residents have also reported sounds consistent with drones and aircraft, while power outages are affecting multiple neighborhoods in the region. The situation remains unclear as of now. Now, let me go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, why is this violence happening in Venezuela?
No, as we were discussing, Harsh, that situation is very fluid, very complex in Venezuela because right now the Supreme Court has appointed Vice President as the interim president of the country. But as I was mentioning before, the key energy infrastructure are controlled by the army generals. And army generals are very powerful in Venezuela. So on one end, you have the civilian government of Maduro, the vice president becoming the interim president, then army generals are running the key infrastructure. Then the opposition forces in Venezuela, anti-Maduro forces, they are also there in Venezuela. So it is very complex. Now, all we know is that during the past 45 minutes, heavy gunfire has been heard in Caracas, including near the presidential palace. Possible drone or aircraft noises have also been reported. Some areas are without power. Now, there's no word from the authorities. So could be other U.S. operation going on in Venezuela because the other day, President Trump said that he does not, he will not think before sending troops to Venezuela. In fact, the U.S. also warned that there could be more military operations taking place in Venezuela. So it could again be some operation which U.S. forces may be carrying out in Venezuela. And because as being reported, it is being said that the drone, possible drone and aircraft noises were heard. So, it looks like that if situation doesn't come in control, then it could possibly become a battlefield in days to come. Because, as I said, the generals are there, they are ruling the country. They control the key energy infrastructure. U.S. has its own military might, and U.S. wants those energy infrastructure. So, in fact, U.S. also said that if required, they will not hesitate sending troops to Venezuela. So those statements have also been made by the U.S. leadership. It's very complex, very challenging. All we can hope is that that normalcy prevails in Venezuela and restoration of democracy, etc. But it looks very unlikely because there is a huge oil reserve which is being controlled by generals. U.S. wants those reserves, and perhaps it could lead to a catastrophe also if situation does not come under control quickly.
But Siddhant, if this is another U.S. operation, only yesterday, interim President Rodriguez confirmed that they have agreed to work with the U.S. Then why is this violence happening in Venezuela?
Well, Nancy Rodriguez say that she is ready to work with the United States, but that is her statement. As I said, that there are other forces also, the business interests, generals running the key infrastructure, etc. So when Maduro is in power or he is the president, people used to listen to him. But now, what legitimacy this vice president has, or perhaps why would people or generals be listening to her? That is also a big question. Maduro is out. She has been appointed as the interim president by the Supreme Court. So why would business lobby or generals would be listening to her? So the prediction is that it could lead Venezuela instability, but we don't know who is carrying out operations where in Venezuela. since drones and aircrafts are being used, so it's our assumption that it could be United States. We don't have any official word coming from US so far. So let's wait for some more time, and then perhaps we would be able to tell our viewers that who could be behind these drones and choppers and aircraft in Venezuela, and whether there's going to be any further military operation in Venezuela or not.
Right, Siddhant. Many thanks, Siddhant, for gathering all that. And we'll have to really see how the situation really unfolds. Now, ousted Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, pleaded not guilty in their first court appearance in New York. Maduro, who was captured in a U.S. military operation, told the judge he is still the president of Venezuela. CNN's Christine Cornell with that report. Listen in.
I just got out of court here in New York where Nicolas Maduro just pleaded not guilty along with his wife to the charges that they face as protesters have been out here throughout. Now, one of the more interesting things that happened during the hearing came simply when the judge asked him to confirm his identity, where he simply could have just said, yes, I'm Nicolas Maduro. He launched into saying that he is the constitutional president of Venezuela, that he is essentially being treated as a prisoner of war, that he's been kidnapped, taken from his home in Caracas, when the judge jumped in and said, okay, we'll get to that later. For now, we just needed to know your name. His wife was there as well. I mentioned she pleaded not guilty. Both of them were speaking in Spanish as the rest of the court listened through interpretation. His wife did seem to be battling some injuries, some visible injuries on her face, and it was something that her defense acknowledged over the course of the hearing. And then as the hearing wrapped up, a protester stood up in the hearing and essentially yelled at Maduro, you will pay for what you have done. And Maduro turned around and acknowledging that person, saying, essentially, I am a man of God. And that was how the hearing ended.
तो जो हमने देखा है, यूएस का यही अभी विदेश नीति है कि अगर उनके इलाके में, मतलब अमेरिकाज़ में, उत्तर अमेरिका हो या दक्षिण अमेरिका हो, उसमें कोई भी अगर ऐसा स्थिति आए जिससे यूएस को कुछ खतरा हो या यूएस को कुछ इसके वजह से चुनौती हो, तो यूएस का हक होगा कि वो रिस्पॉन्ड करेंगे। और जो हम देख रहे हैं, जो यूएस ने किया है, जो अमेरिका ने किया है, उसी नीति के अनुसार उन्होंने किया है।
Right now, what Donald Trump is aiming for is not a full regime change yet, not democracy elections yet, but what America wants right now is that, let's say, the regime which is there, not to disturb it, but that regime should obey what America tells. So now Delcy, the vice president, she is the interim president, and according to Venezuelan constitution, for 30 to 90 days she can be the president and then elections called. So what Trump is warning Venezuela and Delcy Rodriguez is that she should adopt a friendly attitude towards America.